Fantasy playoff draft, NFL playoffs 2025. Fantasy Savvy on X. Follow me there. We're doing a live FFWC 14 round, 16 draft. Kind of threw this in last minute. I'm going to be doing quite a few live drafts all this week. We'll do some DK drafters. We're going to be doing a playoff breakdown tomorrow. So stay tuned to all of it. Like, subscribe, share. We're going to bring up the draft board now. As you can see, we are in the 7th round here. I'll go over my team in a second. Swinging back on the clock right after the preview. But like, subscribe, share. Fantasy Savvy on X. Playoff, NFL, best ball, live drafting. Here we go. And I'm back on the clock. I'm building a bill stack here. I had I believe it was the 4th pick. I'll remember in a second. And I took Josh Allen. I have James Cook. The question is, where do I want to go? Let's grab another Bill player here. We're going with a full Bills onslaught. Since I started the draft with Allen, I'm just going to go all Bills here. But as you guys can see here, we are in the 7th round. My team actually had the 3rd pick. Took Allen, then I took Cook, Nico Collins, George Kittle, Josh Jacobs, Dalton Kincaid, Khalil Shakir. So we have 14 rounds here, 6 teams. You play within this league. It's a $220, $230 entry. You win a league prize, 1st or 2nd, and then also you play for an overall championship grand prize. I believe it's not sure what it is exactly. I have maybe 25,000 to the overall winner. Could be less than that. Might be like 5,000, 10,000. I have to double check. But it's a good site. They just did their payouts for the regular season leagues. Just got my payouts today. So that is nice. FFWC. Again, we'll be doing DK. We'll be doing some underdog drafters then throughout the rest of the week. So make sure you are like, subscribing, and sharing to the show. And then also sharing the show. And then also, too, tomorrow, we're going to do a full playoffs breakdown. We'll have a couple guys on. We'll have the guys from Monday Night Show, Joey, Dan, and Josh. And also Mike on to break down the playoffs. So check that out tomorrow night, probably about 8:30. But here's the build so far. Allen, Cook, Nico, Kittle, Jacobs, Kincaid, Shakir. Dog World, I believe, won the overall championship on this site. On their bigger tournament, was the #1 finisher. Puka, Trevion, Harvey, Nix, Etienne, Metcalf, Herbert. Swing it back to me. So, I got 4 Bills. I only have one. I have 2 guys in the NFC. I have Jacobs and Kittle. And then I have only one other AFC team, which is Nico Collins. So I could grab Stroud here and pair him with Nico. I could go Jordan Love, Caleb. Chuba Hubbard is most likely going to be one and done. Jalen Warren, they definitely could pull an upset. Gainwell is also out there. Let's see. Let's see what receivers are available. Brian Thomas still there. Pearsall still there. Could double up on the Niners here. Rashid Shaheed. Let's take Pearsall. So we'll get 2 Niners. We'll root for the Niners to make a little bit of a run here. This is a little bit different, obviously, than a regular draft because you're picking teams. You're not just picking players. So you have to predict the playoffs, and you want to maintain as many guys in your rosters because obviously you're going to lose guys. So, it's not really like a best ball. This is more because everybody is playing on your roster. Um, so you got to think about what teams are advancing. Actually, not everybody's playing on your roster. You're only playing a starting lineup. Um, One quarterback, two running backs, three receivers, one tight end, a kicker, and a defense. Um, but you don't need to draft a kicker or defense, which is interesting. You don't need to come away with a kicker and a defense in this. So I don't have to draft them. You'll get the points, obviously, if you take them, but you could just stack other players if you want. So it's a little bit different there. All right, back here again. I kind of like getting the defense and the kicker, and obviously they're going to go earlier in these type of formats because you're stacking teams. You want to maintain, again, as many guys as possible. I'll come back to the Bills later. Jalen Warren is still there. Gainwell is still there. Do I want to take CJ Stroud here? Yeah, might as well. I don't know. We'll see how this baby comes out. This is my first one of the 2025-26 playoff season. I think I did like 10 of these last year, or maybe 8, and I finished in the top 10 or top 12 overall. It came pretty close. Obviously, everything's got to work for you. The more entries, the better. Um, but you could do a couple of these and take it down. I mean, you just got to get the right teams in and get the guys that are going to score the points. Now, the Bills, obviously, the Bills stack is not the best, but when you have Cook and Allen, that's what you want. When you're throwing Shakir, you never really know what the hell you're ever going to get from Khalil Shakir. Dolan Kincaid is back healthy. That's going to be, a good thing, especially in the opening round. Jags aren't great against tight ends. Kincaid, when he has played, has been pretty solid. He's been Allen's basically his go-to guy. Shakir, they're kind of using very, very oddly. He's in a lot of screen passes, real short. They got to try to maybe open things up down the field for him a little bit more. So let's see, a couple more rounds here. The running backs are kind of dried up. I have 2 of them. Could go to Woody Marks here and continue my Texans Bills attack. Could go to Kenny Gainwell as well. He is still out there. Let's queue up Woody Marks. So there you go. That's 9 rounds right there. If you're looking at the board, let me know what team you like the best so far. Again, I'm team 3. Obviously, I need the Bills to get to the Super Bowl, and for Kincaid and Shakir to do some things. But thanks for joining us, guys. Kind of get this together last minute. I signed up for the 10 o'clock draft. It filled. I was thinking about doing a show tonight. I was going back and forth, and we got it in. So appreciate you guys joining. Like, subscribe, and share if you haven't already. Appreciate that. Follow me on X at Fantasy Savvy. All right. We have Jordan Love still roaming around here as the last NFC quarterback. Bryce Young as well. The last 2 quarterbacks floating around. We have Jaden Reed, Matthew Golden, Cooper Kupp, Romeo Dobbs, still floating around as well. Um, Now to take Kenny Gainwell doesn't make the most sense. It would make more sense to take Woody Marks, obviously, since I have the Houston stack. But let's take Jordan Love. So we'll get an NFC quarterback. We do have Josh Jacobs, so we get a stack there. We could come back and take Jaden Reed. Now, do I expect the Packers to make the Super Bowl? Not really, but it's kind of way I'm just building my draft like this. Um, and again, it's wide open. I mean, who the hell knows? Anybody could really make it this year. I mean, obviously, you'd like to get some Rams on your team. I could still take the Rams defense. I still could take the Rams kicker if I want to get that NFC coming back. I could do that too, and hope for a Bills Rams Super Bowl or a Bills Packers Super Bowl. So that's probably the way I'll build it. Or I could just continue to add more Bills. I could add the Bills defense and the Bills kicker as well. But I'll probably come back with the Rams here, or maybe the Eagles. We'll see what's available by the time it swings back to me. Again, you don't have to take kicker or defense, which is interesting. You can just leave those points blank, and you can stack more players and build out your best ball roster. I was thinking this was a play all lineup, but it is a best ball actually. Um, I think it plays one quarterback, two running backs, three receivers, tight end, a kicker, a defense, and maybe two flex. I think that's pretty much what it is. So Kenneth Gainwell, good pick there. Let's grab Jaden Reed. Let's continue with the Packers stack here. I do probably got to get another running back. I don't know who though. I might just have to roll with two. Maybe we could throw Chuba in there. Or we could go to Woody Marks too. That's another way we could go. That's probably the pick we wanted to roll with there. But it's going to be some interesting games here. I mean, we got the Rams, Carolina. The Rams are favored by 11. Obviously, we know the Carolina beat them first matchup. So it's the playoffs now. It's a revenge game. I wouldn't be surprised if the Rams just dominated that game. It wouldn't be like 20. I just cannot see them losing. No chance in hell. I don't think it's worth even taking the money line, which is plus 434 for the Panthers. Green Bay, Chicago is the other Saturday game, the night game. That's going to be a hell of a game. Green Bay's favored by 145.5 total. Those two teams split this year. December 7th, the Packers won 28-21. And then December 20th, obviously that walk-off bomb to DJ Moore from Caleb Williams to win 22-16 in overtime. So that's going to be a hell of a game. And then Buffalo, Jacksonville kicks us off on Sunday morning. Buffalo is favored by 152 total. That's crazy. So that's the one good thing. I got the high total. You get all the Bills. And if it comes to fruition, Kincaid maybe gets going, Shakir, Cook. So should get some points there. And if they advance, it's a double bonus there. Couple picks away here for my next pick in round 12. There is an 11:30 draft, or actually an 11 draft. Maybe I'll join that one too. We'll see. And we'll do another one live here. Or maybe we'll jump to an underdog draft or a drafters. We'll see. Maybe we'll do an underdog after this. If I can get signed in over there, should be good. Yeah, underdogs. I'm trying to stick to their single entries as much as I can on DK. Underdog Drafters doesn't have single entries. They only have two drafts. I noticed a $20 and a $3. Underdog has multiple different price points. All right, so let's see. Make sure you guys can see the full draft board. Sorry about that. We are in the. Let me get back to my pick because it's my pick. And 17 seconds on the clock. Could go to Woody Marks here. He's very underwhelming. I'm going to take Rams D here. We'll get some Rams players. They're going to start going. Woody Marks can wait. I don't really, I don't really care too much about Woody Marks, but I'll take him as my third running back if he's there on the way back. And then kicker, we could go Eagles, we could go Rams again, we could go Bills. But at least I got one Ram there. And I probably want to get the Rams kicker, thicker the kicker, Beavis, if he's still there as well. And then we'll hope for a Rams Bills Super Bowl, or we could get Niners in there with Kittle and Pearsall, and we could get the Packers in there with Reed, Josh Jacobs, and Jordan Love. So we got some combos. There goes the Rams kicker. But we're kind of painting a picture here of some possible options. And Buffalo could definitely get to the Super Bowl. This should be the year, but in their mother, it's got to be the year. It's got to be the year. So we'll see what happens. Let's see. Now, let's wait on kicker for now. And we'll just take Woody Marks. It's almost like a backup. Maybe the Texans make a run. So we could either have the Bills or the Texans make a run here. But obviously want the Bills to do it. But gives us another out there and another combination with a 3-man Texans stack with CJ Stroud, Woody Marks, and Nico Collins. So this is what you kind of want to do. You want to predict a Super Bowl, and try to get as many of those players as you can. Obviously, you don't want to take the bum players, the guys that aren't going to score much. Like Khalil Shakir may not do much for me, and Kincaid might not even do much for me. But they do have potential, especially in an opening round game 52, and maybe Allen getting Kincaid to form a nice little connection in the playoffs. They're certainly going to need Kincaid to step up in this playoffs. With the way their offense has looked at times. And a lot of those games, he's been out, Kincaid, so it's hurt the offense. But, Pearsall, Kittle, I like that. If the Niners can make a run, if the Packers can make a run, and then I got the Rams defense in there, just as like a safety valve. I could take another defense. I could take a kicker here with my last pick. I'm definitely going to take a kicker just so I get those kicker points. Could take the Bills. Could, continue to stack the Packers, which I don't think I want to do. So it's probably either Bills or Packers that makes the most sense in this build here at kicker. So I'll probably just stick with the Bills kicker, which we don't know who's going to be in the opening round. I think Prater is still banged up. Might have to go back to Badgley. We saw, in that Philly game, McDermott didn't really even trust Badgley. I could take the Bills defense too and just skip kicker and have two defenses. But it's good to have kicker points. And if the Bills get to the big game, he'll give me a decent amount of points. So we'll go with the Bills kicker here and complete the Bills stack. And we got some people in the chat. Amanda says hi. Our boy Al says, sup, Steve. And Jamie says, sup, my dude. Good to hear from you, Jamie. Good to hear from you, Al. Haven't heard from you guys in a while. Haven't done a solo show in a while. But, the regular fantasy season is over. So we are now in playoff mode, and we're back to drafting. And, if you guys follow the show, that's what most of our shows were about, was live drafts before the season started. I was doing a couple shows during the year, Not as many as I would have liked. Um, but we're going to probably pound out like 2 or 3 shows this week. Again, tomorrow night, we're going to do a full playoff preview of all the games. I think we're going to fill out an NFFC postseason lineup as well. That's a different format. That's not a draft. You fill out an opening lineup for the first week, and then um, the following week you get a multiplier, and it continues to multiply each round. So you get 2 times, 3 times, 4 times. So you want to obviously, if you could start out with Josh Allen as your quarterback and he can go to the Super Bowl, you get 4 times in the Super Bowl. So we'll probably talk strategy on that and do that. And then Thursday night, I think we're going to do a live draft, a home league that I'm running with some face-off guys and some listeners. Jamie, Al, if you guys want to get in that, let me know. It's going to be $75 entry. We do have some more spots left. Just hit me up on X, send me a DM, or let me know in the chat. And if you guys are interested, and I'll send you the info. I'll just drop your email. I can send you an invite. That's going to be Thursday night at 7. Again, I think we have like 4 or 5 spots. Pete's going to be in it. Hoff, Joe Carlton's going to be in it. So that should be a good time. We did that last year, actually. Anthony was in that draft. And we broadcast on the face-off. We might do it on face-off. We might do it here. And then I think Friday night, I'll probably do some more live best ball drafts. And then the game starts Saturday. So it's going to be a busy week here on the Fantasy Savvy channel. So share if you can, like and subscribe if you haven't already. But we're going to wrap up this draft. Maybe we'll do another one. We'll see if, how that 11 o'clock draft is looking. Let's see. Let's see if they filled up here. The 11 o'clock. Maybe we'll do one more of these puppies. 11:30 has 3 to go. The 11 still has 4 spots. All right, so maybe we'll do an underdog, and then we'll pay attention to this so we could always swing back. But let's go over the team real quick again. I had the 3rd pick. I threw this, I went live basically in like the 4th or 5th round. I didn't even know I was going to go live. But we had the 3rd pick. Puka goes first. I think Puka, again, this guy Dog World was the overall champion. They have 2 big contests. They have a 350 entry, and then they have a 13, I think it's a $1,800 entry. I think he won the $1,800 entry. So he probably pulled home about 60 grand. Dog World. I believe that's the payout in that contest. Might be more. But anyway, he starts with Puka, then goes JSN, and then I take Allen. JSN's an interesting one, obviously, because they have to buy Seattle. So he's not going to give me any points in the first round. But obviously, you're looking for longevity, and you could still fill in the slots with the other receivers. And he's going with the Jags. Upset of the Bills with Parker Washington and Brian Thomas. Boudet's not a bad pick. Dog World goes with Puka. His quarterback is Herbert. Doesn't look like he's stacking Herbert with anybody. He's got Trevion. He's kind of all over the place. He's got the Harvey, Knicks, Broncos stack, Etienne, Metcalf, Ingram, Jacoby Myers, Higgins, Patriots D. He's a little bit all over the place. I think you kind of want to stack as much as you can and get as many players from the Super Bowl team as you can, because you want to continue those points. But sometimes you get the right combos and teams advance and guys have big games that could work too. And then you only need maybe a couple guys in the Super Bowl to take it down. So it could work both ways, but a little all over the place there. A little mini stack with Harvey and Knicks and Ingram. I mean, Ingram's done nothing all year, so I don't know what he's going to do there. Rozek, a popular player here on FFWC, starts with JSN. Then he gets Drake May, Kenny Walker, the Diggs, Drake May combo, Charbonnet, Hunter Henry. So all in on New England. And then he's got the 2 Jags. He's got the Darnold Seahawks, Seahawks kicker, Seahawks defense, AJ Barner. So he's got a Seahawks stack. He's got a Patriots stack, and obviously he's got JSN as well. So he's got the Seahawks, Patriots with a little Jags mixed in there, which I like. Gainwell's a good pick too. They're playing the Texans too, so if you can get a nice upside. I mean, the Steelers' freaking offense is Kenny Gainwell. I mean, they throw to him all day long. It's just incredible. And then my team, obviously, is the Bills. Allen Cook. Then I go Nico. Get Kittle, Jacobs. Then I come back to the Bills again with Kincaid and Shakir, Pearsall, C.J. Stroud, Jordan Love, Jaden Reed. Then Rams D with Woody Marks and Bills. So I have 3 Texans with Marks, Stroud, and Nico. And I certainly think the Texans with that defense can make a run. And then I have 5 Bills with Allen, Cook, Kincaid, Shakir, and the Bills kicker. Then I got 2 Niners to go with either the Texans or the Bills in the Super Bowl, and 2 good ones at that with Pearsall and Kittle. And then I got 3 Packers with Jacobs, Reed, and Love. So it's not a bad one. I kind of like it. I'm going to build more of these. We'll see how they all come out. Bills Mafia starts with Barkley, Hurts combo, and Devonta. So a heavy Eagles stack, and then Goddard. He also gets the Eagles kicker and the Eagles defense. So he's all in on the Eagles. In the AFC, he looks like he's going with a Chargers stack with McConkey, Quinton, Vidal, Gadsden. So Chargers, Eagles, Keenan Allen as well. And then he throws Caleb Williams into the mix there. So heavy Chargers, heavy Eagles. Chargers would need to go on a serious run. Jim Harbaugh's brother, fired today. Where is he going to end up? We'll see. 18 years in Baltimore. I mean, I didn't really see that coming. Did anybody really see that coming? I mean, he did look kind of depressed on the sidelines, and they had a rough season for sure. But I mean, Lamar was hurt. I mean, Lamar's killed them. And he played great in that game. Don't get me wrong, but he's killed them with injuries. And Huntley had the big win to kind of save their season. But Lamar's, it was that one year when they played the Bengals too. He missed the playoffs, and Huntley filled in that game. They almost beat the Bengals in that game, but he's kind of been unavailable at times. So he's been very injury prone, like Burrow too. And that's the one thing about Allen. You can say the guy never misses a freaking game. I know he went out for one snap to continue the streak, but I mean, that's impressive in its own right. The guy just his style of play, and he continues to get in there every single game. Playmakers goes with McCaffrey, AJ Brown, Purdy, Ramondre, Dowdle, Lawrence, Jennings, McMillan, Warren, Shaheed, Higbee, Schultz, Niners. So he's got a Niners stack. Brian Robinson as well with Purdy, McCaffrey, Jennings, Brian Robinson, Niners kicker. And then in the AFC, he's got he's a little bit all over the place with various different teams. Dowdle in the 5th round. I don't know. I can't do that. Dowdle's busted him. He blew his load about a month ago. Maybe 6 weeks ago. He was fresh off the books, filling in for Hubbard. He was running like an absolute madman. He was running with like everything he possibly had. He was going. I just think he just ran out of gas because he has not looked the same in the last 4 weeks. And I think he was playing above his head. I don't think he's as good as people were trying to make him out to be. He's a decent back. I mean, he's not bad, but he hasn't done anything in a while. So I think he kind of blew his load. When his legs were nice and fresh. But if he can get the Jags, Niners with Lawrence, that would be the combo he would want there, obviously. And then Miss New Booty starts with Devontae Adams, Kyron Stafford to the Rams stack, which is a nice one. For me, the Rams are the favorite to come out of the NFC, and I think for most people, they would be as well. And the Seahawks are obviously up there. They are plus 330 right now. The Rams are plus 425 to get to the Super Bowl. And then the Eagles plus 950. Um, so he gets the Rams stack. Then he goes Denver with Sutton, Blake Corum, DeAndre Swift, Colton Loveland, Luther Bird, and Christian Watson, a Dunze. So he's got a bear stack there with 3 Bears. And then he's got Parkinson as well, another Ram. I think the Rams and a sleeper pick in this playoffs could be Terrence Ferguson. I mean, I know Higbee's back now. Higbee's a veteran. Him and Parkinson are kind of the veterans of the team. Davis Allen, he's been there 3 years. He mixes in as well. But Ferguson gives them a different element. He's their big play guy. He's more the receiver. I like Terrence Ferguson. I think everybody loves Colson Loveland. I like Terrence Ferguson. I think even more. Obviously he's playing with Stafford, which makes a difference. But I just think he's faster. He's a little bit more athletic. No, Loveland's got some speed. He's not like the most explosive guy. I just think Ferguson's can be a little bit more dangerous. So I think he's a sleeper in this playoffs. But Parkinson and Higbee are solid as well. Those guys kind of do the same thing. They rely on the system to get open. They catch those 1-yard passes, those 1-yard touchdowns, those delayed screens, stuff like that. But he's got the Rams, and then in the AFC. He's trying to come back with a Texans with the kicker and the defense, which, I think that's pretty sound. He's got a lot of Rams here. So I like that. Even getting Corum is nice. But yeah, he would want the Texans to get in there, and then you get the Texans defense and the Texans kicker every game. That's going to definitely acquire you some points, and then you get the Rams. So that's not a bad little build either. So kind of like everybody's kind of got something different going on here. So it's a good draft. Let's see if we can get into one more. Let's see if the 11 is going to fill up, and it probably will. There's 3 spots currently open. So I'm going to join. That will leave 2 spots, and then we'll run more and more of these babies, and we'll talk to you guys in the chat a little bit, and then we'll get the hell out of here. The first one was a free entry. I did pretty well on this site, actually, in the FFWC. I entered 5 leagues. 4 were the smaller. 1 was the bigger contest, but they gave me a discount. So I entered. They were drafting live in Vegas, and they had 1 spot open, and they needed an online guy to do it. So they gave me like $1,000 discount. So I jumped in. Or it was a $500 discount. I forget what it was. But I didn't make the playoffs in that league, but I did 4 of their smaller 350s, and I made the playoffs in 3 of the 4, and I won 2 of the 4, and I came in second in the other one. And then I did a best ball early with them, like beginning, like when the drafting season still started, $25 best ball. I won that as well. And then I finished 26th overall in their championship round. And I've done well on FFWC. It's actually been the site I've done the best on between NFC and FFPC overall, for sure. Last 3 years in their overall contest, they finished 28th, 18th last year, and then 22nd this year. I might have finished a little bit higher last year, maybe 15th, but I think it was 18th. So you win a prize for that as well. So that I had 1 free entry into this contest. So let's see here. Let's see if we can get this draft going, and we'll jump into another draft, and we'll see. Needs 2 more entries. So it might start in about 12 minutes. Maybe we'll do an underdog in between. But Jamie says, I've been taking it easy after my 11 championships this year. So that is a hell of a season, Jamie. 11 championships. I know you play in 29 dynasty leagues, that is. So great season, bro. You are definitely a very, very knowledgeable player. We have to do more shows Um, maybe we could do a live best ball on Friday together. But if not next year, we'll definitely do more shows. It's good to do that one show with you this year, man. All the best. Congrats on a great year. Also won $772 on Underdog, so solid. Uh, and Dia says, "Be honest. Did you forget about the 2023 Cotton Bowl with USC?" Yes, I did forget about it. Jamie says, "I would love to join for Anthony memory." Joey B is the truth. If you're talking about Joey Brown, yeah, he is, man. He is a good dude. He's a really good fantasy player. So I think you're talking about Joey Brown. And Jamie says 29 dynasty and 4 redraft. 35 leagues there, or 33 leagues there. Solid. Yeah, man, I did too many this year. I was in about almost 50 leagues total. It was just too much with the freaking fab. And I was in 3 dynasty leagues this year. I won one of them. One of them I didn't make the playoffs, and the other one I lost in the first round. But I did win the Face Off Memorial League, Dynasty League that Ernie started. But and we donated the money to his family, which was good. So, and Dylan, my nephew joins, says just tuned in. I think the Eagles make a run. Sadly, hard to take down the champs. I don't know, man. I'm done with the Eagles. Survivor. It took them 3 weeks in a row, and they knocked me out of the pool. If you remember that last week, it was down. If they would have won, it would have been down to 3 players. Me and V and 2 other people. We took the Eagles on that Monday night game, and they lost again. And then whatever, they beat the Raiders. But yeah, their defense is there. Hurts kind of steps up when he needs to. They've had struggles in the past, but I don't know. I don't think they're going to make it back. I bet on the Rams, and I think the Seahawks defense would kind of eat them alive too. I don't like Darnold. He's definitely risky as hell. I don't trust him against the Eagles defense, but I could see the Seahawks defense. There'll be a low scoring game. I see the Seahawks defense kind of getting it done there, and maybe Darnold makes some plays. Even in the Bills game, I don't know what the hell was going on there. I think obviously losing Kellen Moore hurts. That dude Patullo, the new offensive coordinator. There's run, pass down the stretch. They played so damn conservative, and they let the Bills come back. Bills just couldn't finish it off. But yeah, it's definitely possible. Eagles could make a run. It's wide open, man. There's so many teams that can make it this year. I really have no idea what the hell is going to happen. It's just the NFL has been very, very parity driven. I think more so than ever this season. The Bears maybe could do so. I don't see it, but anybody could kind of beat anybody. Anybody could, all these games, man. Besides the Rams Carolina game, I think can go either way this weekend. Even Pittsburgh, at home Monday night in Pittsburgh, I think they're like 4-0 their last 4 primetime night playoff games. I know they lost like their last like 5 or 6 wild or opening round games, Pittsburgh, something like that. But Monday night at home, that's gonna be a pretty serious atmosphere. So wouldn't surprise me if Pittsburgh even pulls that off. It's just a 3-point spread. So again, all the games are kind of wide open. Jamie says, just took over an orphan team that belonged to Memphis Young in a league with a bunch of analysts. Rest in peace. Yeah, Randall, Memphis Young. Yeah, rest in peace to Randall. I think I didn't really know who he was. I think I caught 1 or 2 shows just randomly on X from him. But yeah, worked with Player Profiler, was a veteran in the fantasy analyst world. And yeah, man, it sucks. You lose Anthony, you lose him. Big losses for sure. These guys love fantasy football. He was an older guy. I think he was like maybe 6 years older than me. Anthony was a couple of years younger than me, so yeah, it's rough. But that's cool, man. You're taking it over. Make him proud. Get it done. Get the championship. The team is in good hands for sure with you, Jamie. Um, let's see what the status of this league is here. Looks like 11 minutes. Have they filled up yet? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Yeah, 2 more entrants. Should we do an underdog draft while we wait? Why the hell not? Um, let's do I guess we'll do a gauntlet. That should fill pretty fast. Let's see. There it is. This is a max 150 entries. Oh, my location thing is not working on this, so I might not be able to get this done. Let's see. I'll restart it here. Nope, I don't think this is going to work here tonight on Underdog. I'll reload the site. Let's see if that works. I don't know why that's not working. Usually lets me go through. Um, hmm. Anyway, if we can't join the underdog draft, we'll just wait on this one. Should start probably in about 10 minutes, the FFWC. Otherwise, we'll probably be doing 2 drafts at once, which is never fun. So we'll skip that. That kind of sucks. I got to get that figured out. We might have to stick to DraftKings and drafters if that's the case here on the live show. But let's talk about the matchups a little bit more here. As we wait for this other FFWC draft to fill. Jamie says Memphis came on one of my shows this past offseason. He shouted me out on almost all his shows. I mean, that's great, man. And Jamie, you've been a veteran as well. I mean, listening to the Face Off channel for last, I don't know, 3-4 years, whatever it was, and always on all the shows, man. So you're well known. And he was born in 76. Same year as my older brother. So same age. It's rough. And one of my friends actually just lost his brother today, I think, or the other day. So, let's talk about some positive things as we move into the new year. But rest in peace to everybody that lost somebody. But much to look forward to. Many blessings in our lives, and we just keep it rolling. We do the best we can. But let's talk about some of the games. So, Carolina Rams. We talked about it earlier. These two teams played back in November 30th. The Rams won 31-28. Similar spread. Carolina was a 9.5 underdog. Adams, I believe Puka was out in that game, actually. Oh, no, he was there. 6 for 72. Adams had 458 and 2 touchdowns. Corum had 7 carries for 81 yards and a touchdown. Kyron Williams had 13 carries for 72 and a touchdown. Stafford was 18 of 28 for 243, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. Bryce Young was on fire in that game, 15 of 20. And that's kind of the one weakness of the Rams is their secondary. They have let up a lot of some big performances to receivers and quarterbacks. And then, Bryce Young, 15 of 20, 206, 3 touchdowns. Chuba runs for 17 for 83, and Dowdle runs 18 for 58. Coker goes 4 for 74 and a touchdown. Tetaroa just 2 targets, but catches a 43-yard touchdown. 1 catch for the game. Chuba, 2 catches, 41 yards and a touchdown. Dow, 2 for 21. And then again, Stafford, he turned it over twice. And they also had a lost fumble as well. So 3 turnovers total in that game. Panthers had the ball for 35 minutes to the Rams 24 minutes. So, 3 turnovers, and they only lost by a field goal. The spread is 11.5 this time. It's going to be in Carolina. Obviously, Carolina wins the NFC South. I just don't see any chance in hell that Carolina wins this game. Maybe they cover. It's always possible. But 46.5 is the total. And, could see that going over. Again, I think Carolina could probably move the ball a little bit on this Rams defense. Rams defense has been letting up some points, 31 to Carolina, 34 to Detroit, 38 to Seattle, 24 to Atlanta, 20 to Arizona. So, they got a good pass rush. They generate sacks, but they do leak some points and yards in their secondary. And again, we're going to talk about this in more detail tomorrow night. We're going to go over every single game, but we'll have a full panel on tomorrow. About 4 or 5 guys talking about all the games. We're going to make some props, NFL picks, and then we might do an NFC lineup as well. Let's check on the draft and see how that's. Oh, we're starting here. So let's share this tab, and let's go to this draft board and blow this baby up. So we got a whole new draft starting. This time I have the second pick. I had the third pick last time. So what do I want to do? Do I want to go back to I'm going back to Josh Allen again. I mean, why not? Okay. I mean, I'm going to be doing a lot of these, maybe at least, 5 or 6 more of these. So I'm not always going to be in the top 3. I'll probably fall back sometimes. So I'll take Allen again. But Puka, I'd love to get him at the 1 spot. I mean, I'd love to do a Ram stack as well. But I could still, try to do a little bit of a Bills Ram stack here. So is this the year that Josh Allen and the Bills get to the Super Bowl? No Lamar, no Burrow, no Mahomes. Obviously, that's the big narrative. But the Bills' offense has just been very flat at times. Joe Brady, throwing these screen routes on 2nd and 7 and 3rd and 7 behind the sticks. Taking the playmaking ability out of Allen's hands. Brandon Beane quite possibly building one of the worst wide receiver rooms, blacking out on the Bills media earlier, before the season started, saying we're not playing fantasy football. This receiver talk is overrated. We led the league in scoring. But you led the league in scoring again because you had Josh Allen and, you could run the ball and you had a good offensive line. But you can't rest on your laurels when you have a player like Josh Allen. You got to try to re-up. I mean, then there was a McDermott interview today, and he was talking about Jacoby Myers and people saying that, he was taking a shot at McDermott there. I mean, at Bean there. He was also talking about Malik Hairston, and they didn't have much depth at the cornerback position because Hairston, the rookie from Kentucky, is going to miss the game. And he would have been the guy that covered Jacoby Myers. So, I don't know. I don't know if he's taking shots at his GM before the playoffs. I don't think McDermott's really trying to do that, or if he's trying to maybe build in excuses. Either way, I mean, it's reality. The Bills always have multiple injuries on defense coming into the playoffs. Losing Ed Oliver obviously is another big loss for them on the D line, but they've been playing good football. The defense is playing good football. McDermott has, called some good games in the playoffs before. But it's mostly where he's been shredded is against has been by Mahomes, and that one snow game against Burrow, where he basically threw like 65 5-6 yard passes to Samaje Perine, and he kept getting first downs. And then they just kept throwing to Chase and like curl routes for 6 yards, and it was like this soft ass defense they were playing. I think that was Leslie Frazier actually, and then obviously the 13-second game, letting Tyreek Hill and Kelsey catch those 2 passes to get right in field goal range. All right, so what are we going to do here? Are we going to go to, you know what? We're going to have to go with James Cook again. I mean, that's the stack you want to get. I was thinking about taking Kyron, but I could always come back later and get Corum, and then maybe grab a couple of the Rams tight ends. Obviously, besides Puka and Adams, you don't really want any of the Rams receivers. They don't really do anything. It turns into their running backs and their tight ends. Their plethora of tight ends. But yeah, I mean, if you're getting Allen, you got to go with the James Cook Allen stack. I mean, that's the only way to do it. Maybe I don't have to get Kincaid and Shakir like I did last time. Maybe I'll just go with Kincaid and skip Shakir. You know, maybe I could grab a Tyrell Shavers or something with the last pick, or Brandon Cooks even. And I went Nico last time too. So, let's see. Let's see here. Hold on. So let's look at this. The Broncos have the bye. The Steelers and the Texans. So the Broncos, I mean, we don't know what the hell is going to happen, but if you predict it, let's say, the Patriots beat the Chargers. Let's say the Bills beat the Jaguars and the Steelers play the Texans. So the Bills would play the Broncos in the second round. The Texans would play the Patriots. So, taking Texans with the Bills is not a bad strategy. Obviously, you want to fade the Broncos. Let me get back to the draft. I don't even know where the hell I am now. Got so many freaking tabs open. Hopefully, I don't miss my pick. There goes Stafford. Should we go Kenny Walker? I can't take Kenny Walker over Jacobs. All right, we'll go AJ Brown this time. AJ Brown is floating out there. So instead of Nico, I don't think AJ Brown was there last time actually. He was gone. So I like that. I like that pick in the third round with AJ Brown. Dylan came in here, my nephew, and said that he thinks the Eagles are getting to the Super Bowl. So it is quite possible. Could have took George Kittle again there as well, but I think AJ Brown was a solid pick. And we could do a Bills Eagles Super Bowl here. A rematch of the 13-12 game from week 16 or week 17 rather. So, that's the way it plays out. Broncos, Bills, Texans, Patriots, and then the Bills are either playing the Patriots or the Texans in the conference championship game. In the NFC, the Seahawks are let's just play it out like I think it's going to play out. So the Rams will beat the Panthers, the 5 will beat the 4. We'll say the Eagles will beat the Niners. I don't know if that's a great matchup for the Niners. Against that Eagles defense. Purdy obviously just struggled mightily against the Seahawks defense, and he's going to struggle against better defenses. And the Eagles have a good matchup against that San Francisco secondary. So I kind of like this stack with AJ Brown, where in the last draft I did Kittle and Pearsall. So the Eagles beat the Niners. Eagles are favored by 4.5 in that game. And then we'll take the Packers over the Bears. I'm very biased against the Bears though. But let's go with the Packers in my pick here. And then they would end up playing the Seahawks. So Seahawks Packers, that's another very even game. Packers could make a run there. probably would pick Seattle to win that game, but the Packers easily could win. And then we're gonna get the Rams versus the Eagles. That's a hell of a game, and I'm taking the Rams. So let's just say Rams Seahawks. Um, and that, I got to go with the Rams, man. I can't envision Sam Darnold getting to a Super Bowl. I just can't. I can't envision it. Can you guys envision that? I can't. I mean, imagine when the 2 1 seeds get to the Super Bowl. We have Bo Nix for Sam Darnold in the Super Bowl. That's going to be a boring Super Bowl. It's gonna be two good defenses going against each other, and maybe those two quarterbacks had played well at that point, but I don't think anybody really wants to see that. So, all right, so let's see how we're gonna build this baby. We could go back to Josh Jacobs. He's still sitting there. I took him. Nico's still sitting there. Um, Kittle is now gone. So, we're not going to quarterback. So Cortland Sutton goes. It's gonna be either Jacobs or Nico here. Mm. I think I'm gonna go Nico. I kind of trust the Texans a little bit more. I mean, I could go with Devonta too, and continue to add to my Eagles stack here. All right, we'll take Nico again. I think the Eagles. I mean, I think the Texans should be able to beat Pittsburgh. I mean, we've seen the Pittsburgh offense look. I mean, sometimes Rodgers looks great, but then sometimes they just look terrible. I mean, you can't survive on throwing passes to Kenneth Gainwell the whole game. It's just unsustainable. Fryermuth stepped up, he had a big catch, and Calvin Austin ran that double move on the corner. But I don't. That's not happening against the Texans. Their corners are too good. That safety Bullock is nasty. They got Petrie also. Um, and, Lassiter and Stingley. So, and then you got freaking Dale Hunter and Will Anderson. So it's just a nasty, nasty freaking defense. And as much as I'd like the Pittsburgh, it's going to be a great atmosphere. I just can't see it happening. Now I could go back to Devonta. I mean, I could. There goes Devonta. Shit. So we could go back to Jacobs here. Um, all right, let's do it. I don't know why Jacobs. I feel like Jacobs is a solid pick. Packers could make a little bit of a run. So this team's a little bit similar to the last team, except I have AJ Brown. It's basically the same thing. But we're gonna have to try to build it a little bit different. Either way, it's gonna be heavily reliant on the Bills once again making a run. But what do you guys like? Who do you think is going to the Super Bowl? How would you build your team? What two teams would you want to get the most of? How do you feel about Seattle? How do you feel about the Broncos as the 1 seed? Um, Jamie said, I was thinking about my new background for a podcast. I want to do street signs, Anthony Servino Drive, the Memphis way. That sounds great, man. Mike Tagliari Street. Yeah, shout out to Mike Tagliari as well. Another huge fantasy name that we lost a couple of years ago. That sounds great, man. I like that a lot. I'll never forget. We got to keep rolling down the roads. That's right, man. Yeah, man. Life is it. None of us is escaping this place, and we just enjoy every day. And every day is a blessing, and we are blessed. We have a lot of things in our life that we, are very fortunate to have, especially living in America. So, but Jamie says I could see a Bills versus Eagles. So, that's what I'm building right now. Where the rest of this builds out, maybe I'll add Goddard later on. I think I do want to get Corum though. Um, we'll see where he goes. Probably will grab him soon. Can the Chargers pull off an upset against the Patriots? Just a 4-point spread. I mean, they could. The Chargers win that game. They go to play Denver. Um, I'm going to see what the Chargers did against Denver this year. Um, they just played him, but it was with freaking Trey Lance. So obviously that means nothing. Um, let's see here. What happened in the first matchup? I can't remember. Um, week 3, they won at home, 23-20. Knicks was 14 of 25, a buck 53. Dobbins 11 for 83. We'll see if there's some talk that Dobbins could return. I haven't seen that yet, but it could be sneaky pick if he does. 6 for 118 for Sutton, and then 3 for 14. Nobody else did anything in the passing game. The receiving game. Herbert was 28 of 47 for 300 yards and a touchdown. Hampton was 19 for 70. Najee Harris played in that game. Quentin Johnson had a big game, 6 for 89. Keenan was 7 for 65. Gatson 5 for 46, and McConkey. So yeah, I mean, the Chargers could make a run. I mean, you got a great coach. Their defense is solid. The one issue with the Chargers is their offensive line, and then you go against a team like Denver. That's going to be tough. But I mean, again, this thing is freaking wide open. If you want to add some charges, I don't mind it. And I gotta, think about some of these scenarios a little bit deeper here, and we'll kind of rank these playoff teams and come up with some good combos. But I mean, Chargers definitely could make a run. All right, let's see where I'm going here. Still only have 2 Bills. Could go to Goddard. Could go to Kincaid. I think I'm going to take Corum here. I feel like he's going to get drafted pretty soon. I'm trying to think where he went in the last draft. I don't even know if I have time to look at that. Shit. All right, let's just get it in. Let's take Corum here. I think the Rams are my favorite to get to the Super Bowl in the NFC. So we have an Eagles possibility with A.J. Brown. We have a Rams with Blake Corum. Again, we can get the kickers. We can get the defenses. We can get the tight ends. There's no big names that are sticking out that I think are going to score a ton of points here. Maybe Ricky Pearsall has a big game, or Jawan Jennings has a big game in the opening round. Shakir and Kincaid are still sitting out there as well for more Bills players. And I definitely want to get 1 or 2 of them if I'm going to build this stack with the Bills again. So, again, I'm going to have 2 Allen teams to start this FFWC playoff contest. I'm happy about that. But, I'm going to have some teams where I'm, getting Stafford as my quarterback, maybe Hurts. Maybe I'll go against the Bills and take Trevor Lawrence. I don't know. Are you guys buying Trevor Lawrence's run down the stretch here? I mean, they pick up Jacoby Myers. All right, I'm back on the clock. Let me just make this pick. There goes Kenny Gainwell early and often in this draft. So I'm glad I took Corum. Juwan Jennings is there. All right, I'm going to take I feel like I got to take either Kincaid or Goddard here. Let's take Kincaid. Kincaid could have a really nice postseason. I mean, he's going to be the one big threat as long as he's healthy. I mean, the guy is always freaking hurt. So, I like getting him with Allen. Hour 4 here on the show. Like, subscribe, share. Thanks to Jamie, Dylan, Al, Nate Doe saying Joey B is the truth. Dia and also Amanda for joining the show tonight. Um, Appreciate you guys. But yeah, what the hell was I talking about right before I made that pick? Um, can't even remember. Um, I mean, the Bears. How do you guys feel about the Bears? Do you think the Bears can make a run? I think Ben Johnson is doing a hell of a job now. Caleb has not really played that great this year, but the one thing you can't take away from Caleb is every single game he seems to turn it on late in the game and he makes clutch throws. I mean, he's been making he's been clutch. He's pulled out wins. He's been made the throws when they need to be made. He's made the drives when they need to be made. I think obviously Ben Johnson deserves a lot of credit for what he's done. I think Bird and Loveland are good, but I think they're much better with Ben Johnson. And then you can't even get a guy like DJ Moore going. Now he's had a couple games going here and there, but you can't really even get him going, which is crazy. Getting at 1,400 yards with Fields as his quarterback, so that's kind of a weird thing. But they run the football a lot. Caleb's been very inaccurate. He's missed tons of throws this year, but he gets it done at the end of the game. And their defense, they got good corners. They got healthy. Montez Sweat, Ben Johnson doing a good job. So they've pulled out a lot of games this year in close games. So, I'm not picking them. I'm picking again. I'm going to be fading the Bears. I've been fading them all year. I'll pick the Packers in that game, but they could make a run. And our boy Bandit JV says, sub, appreciate you, man. Appreciate that. We'll be back with another show, full playoff preview tomorrow with like 3 or 4 more guys. We'll be doing a couple more playoff best ball drafts the rest of the week. We'll be doing some college basketball stuff as well as the tournament starts to kick in. So stay tuned for that. Appreciate you, man. We like doing live drafting on this show, though, especially before the fantasy football season starts. We do a ton of them. So appreciate you subbing, man. Oh, shit. I'm on the clock. All right. Beautiful. I'm on the clock now. DK Metcalf, DJ Moore. Jawan Jennings was a good pick. Oh, shit. All right. So my auto pick was Dallas Goedert. That's fine. I had him in the queue. That is fine. I get another Eagle. I'm happy with that pick. So Ladd McConkey's still sitting out there. That's a good value. Roma Dunze, we don't know if he's coming back. He's got that stress fracture. There hasn't been any good updates. Let me see if I can find something about a Dunze here. But no, sounds like he will return. The limited at practice. How effective is he going to be? I mean, he could just be forcing himself out there. I'm fading the Dunze. Again, I'm fading the Bears. I was talking about the Chargers before making a run. Khalil Shakir is still out there. I may be able to still snag Shakir later. There's no running backs I really want at this point. Do I want to grab Herbert or Love or Darnold? You know what? Let's go with a Chargers upset pick here and take Ladd McConkey. Now, I know Ladd is a frustrating season for him in fantasy. I've had teams where I took Brian Thomas and Ladd back-to-back in the first 2 rounds. It was a disaster. I mean, those 2 guys, I love Brian Thomas coming to the draft. I love Ladd McConkey coming into the draft, and they both smashed in their rookie years. Brian Thomas was just out of sorts all year. He was banged up earlier in the year, and I think he lost some confidence, and then he was in and out of the lineup. And then, they add Jacoby Myers while he's gone. And, Brenton Strange emerges. And then Parker Washington becomes a big part of the offense. Like I think those guys kind of fit because Thomas is more downfield. You kind of got to take more shots to him. And I think their chemistry they just haven't found a chemistry. Like I feel like Thomas would be better off with like a Herbert. He would be like a smash, like a QJ role. But like obviously, QJ's played good, but at times, Thomas has kind of played like QJ this year. So it was just, I don't know. I mean, he was just so damn good last year. It was a shock to me he took such a step back. And then Ladd, I think the talent's still there. Obviously, he's still very, very talented, but um, it's a little bit crowded there. QJ took a big step up. Allen was big at the beginning of the year. Gatson had some big games. And the other thing that hurt the Chargers and their offense is their passing game. And their offensive line has just been abused by injuries. So that's hurt Ladd in the passing game, the running game. Um, Let me scroll down here so you guys can see the picks. Christian Watson, good pick, actually. I definitely want to get some Christian Watson. Um, but yeah, the offensive line for the Chargers just killed them. Maybe Herbert's played pretty well, but that's the one thing. The Patriots have a solid defense. So, you know, I think the Patriots defense, the Chargers defense can kind of keep them in that game. And then, the Chargers can make some big plays. They have the playmakers to do it. They could definitely win that game. And then you got Harbaugh. He's a hell of a coach. He probably wants to win one for his brother who was just fired by the Ravens as well. Keep repping the family. So these games are going to be awesome this weekend. I was kind of falling out the last couple of weeks, kind of dragging, towards the end of the fantasy season, being in all my leagues and, lost some big home leagues, which kind of was depressing to me a little bit. And then, you get into week 17, all these quarterbacks are hurt. Oh, there goes Shakir. Shit. All right. Well, he didn't fall to me. I just missed him. But we could add another Bill. Last time we didn't get the Bills defense. We could do it this time, maybe. Let's maybe grab another receiver here. Should we go Ricky Pearsall? Or should we go Rashid Shaheed? Maybe get a Seahawk? Should we get a Seahawk or should we go Jaden Reed? Get another Packer? Or we could go Jaden Higgins. Actually, Dobbs is out there. I should have took Quentin Johnston and stay with the Chargers. I took Dobbs. I'm not really happy about that pick. I think I should have took Pearsall, but I think I'm going to fade the Niners in this one. And, we're going Eagles here. So we'll fade the Niners. We got Pearsall last time. Maybe I'll come back and take Shaheed. Bills receivers. I don't know if I can mess with Joshua Palmer. Maybe Brandon Cooks. I could see Cooks kind of being a factor for them in the playoffs a little bit. He made a huge catch. He's going to be utilized. He arguably could be their best receiver. There goes Quentin Johnston. But I don't need to take him now. Nobody's thinking about Brandon Cooks. The running backs, Ray Davis, Ty Johnson, forget about that. Quarterbacks, Darnold is gone now. Stroud, I could go back to Jordan Love. I could go to Herbert again. The Chargers and the Bills wouldn't play each other to the AFC Championship if they did face off. Now let's take a Seahawk. Let's take Shaheed here. We'll get another possible NFC guy here. So I don't mind that pick. Shaheed, he can make some big plays. Our boy Johnny Valencia says the Chargers' best chance to win the Chargers' best chance to win is the Pats, to be honest. Why do you think that is? I agree. I think I think they could definitely beat them, but why do you think it's their best chance to win in the opening round? As opposed to, playing the Jags or the Bills or the Texans. Obviously, the Texans would be a rough matchup for the Chargers. So, yeah, you might have a good point there. Playing the Steelers, I think would be a decent matchup for the Chargers as well, but maybe not. Maybe with TJ Watt in that pass rush against the offensive line. Maybe you're right, man. But yeah, the Chargers, I think, could pull it off. 3.5 point spread. The Chargers is always going to charge in the playoffs. But, with Harbaugh, maybe it's a little bit different. Last year they were favored in that game against the Texans, and the Texans just kind of blew their doors off. The Chargers charged again. These two teams last played December 24th I mean, December 28th, 2024. Obviously, that was a whole different ball game. I think Drake May probably started that game though. Yeah, Drake May did play in that game. 12 of 22, 117 yards and a touchdown. No Jared Mayo, obviously. Vrabel's in town. Demario Douglas, Boudet, Kendrick Bourne. But I mean, they shut him down. I mean, Drake May didn't do anything. That was late in the season as well. But obviously, Drake May's played much better this year. The offensive line's been better. The receiving weapons have been better. They got Josh McDaniels now. But I mean, maybe the Chargers can kind of slow them down and put up some points. Maybe get the run game going. You got McConkey, you got QJ, you got freaking Keenan Allen, and Herbert's a playmaker. So that's going to be again, these games are really freaking good. And I was saying that earlier, actually. I think that's what I wanted to finish off with was it's kind of falling out towards the end of the year. You had all these shitty quarterbacks playing the last couple weeks. And then week 18, just all these crappy ass games. But then Pittsburgh, Baltimore ended terrifically. And now I'm souped back up again. So doing drafts all week. I should be live pretty much every day. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So stay tuned. Appreciate you guys checking it out. Make sure you guys are liking, subscribing to the show. And follow me on X at Fantasy Savvy if you can as well. All right. Hour 16. We are in the 12th round here. So almost done with our second live draft of the night here. We attempted to do an underdog to squeeze in, which probably is better that we didn't do it, but they couldn't track my location. So we went away from that. So 3 more picks here. Rams defense is still there. Again, I have Corum. Should I take Seahawks D or should I take Rams D? Texans D is also there. What are we doing here? What are we doing? No. I gotta pull that up. All right. I'm pulling back that pick. I don't want Joshua Palmer. Hopefully they pull that back for me. I hit the emergency help button. I do not want Joshua Palmer. Please. Please don't leave me with Joshua Palmer. Ugh. All right. Emergency help has been requested. Please take Joshua Palmer off my team. Sorry, I'm live streaming. I missed my pick here. Oh, God. I guess they're not pulling it back for me. They're just letting this baby roll. Ugh. All right, let's go with Seahawks D. Shit. Joshua Palmer. Ugh. I got to look at how many snaps he played last game. I'd rather have Brandon Cooks than Palmer. All right, whatever. Did he even play? Did he even play in the Week 17 game against the Eagles? I think he was hurt. Yeah, he played in Week 18, so he is healthy. I mean, he'll be out there. Whatever. Him or Brandon Cooks. What are you gonna do? I guess it's not a huge difference. I still rather have Cooks though. I did not want that pick though. They didn't pull it back. I'm surprised. They usually pull it back. especially since I hit the emergency help button. All right. Guess maybe the commissions are watching a movie or something. I don't know. All right, so I got one pick left. We'll go over all these teams shortly. Um, we got quite a few receivers. Only have one quarterback. Um, do I want to go? I was going to take Herbert actually and pair him up with McConkey. Um, mm, could go back to Jordan Love. I do have Dobbs and Jacobs again, but then I would have no kicker. Or just ride out with Allen. Again, I'm going to need him to go to the Super Bowl anyway. So um, I don't really like my combos, and I have Love on the other team. So let's just end this with a kicker, probably. We're either going to go with we'll go with the Eagles. We'll go with the Eagles kicker or the Bills here. We'll get 3 Eagles, and we'll hope for a Bills-Eagles Super Bowl. Let me just make sure there's nothing else out there that I want. Jaden Reed, Golden. All right, let's go. Should I go with Jaden Reed or the kicker? Let's go with the Eagles kicker. Yeah, let's go with the Eagles kicker. All right, that's good. So I'll have no defense in the first round, which I don't like. But, it is Seattle. Very, very good defense. All right, so let's go over the builds here in the second draft of the night. What the hell happened here? So the commission came in and said, "What happened?" But he's not going to pull it back now. I'm not going to make him draw back 97 picks. All good. All right, so let's go over the builds here in the second draft. So again, Puka goes first, and he pairs him up with Stafford, and that's what you want. Very nice. And then he gets Harvey and Nick. So a Rams Broncos Super Bowl. He's also got Troy Franklin. And then he gets Devonta, Gainwell, Jalen Warren, Christian Watson, Pearsall, QJ, Pat Bryant, another Bronco there, Rams, Higbee. So, Broncos, Rams, Super Bowl. Again, Allen for me, Cook. That's a terrific stack. I mean, if those two go to the Super Bowl, especially with an opening game of 52, they're going to put up, 52 total. They're going to put up a ton of points. And then I get A.J. Brown. So I get A.J. Brown in this one. And then I get Goddard and the Eagles kicker. So I need a Bills-Eagles Super Bowl. I also have Nico, Josh Jacobs, Blake Corum, another Bill and Kincaid, McConkey, Dobbs, Shaheed. So I have 2 Packers. I get McConkey to throw in there. Maybe they play in the AFC Championship. Maybe the Packers get in with Jacobs and Dobbs instead of the Eagles. That wouldn't be a bad combo for me either. Josh Palmer, I did not want, but I got auto pick there. I wanted Herbert, but maybe he'll make some plays. Who the hell knows? He's going to be out there. He's healthy. If I was going to take a Bills receiver, I probably would have took Brandon Cooks there, and then Seattle D with Shaheed. So I could get a Seattle Bills Super Bowl too, but I do have the Eagles kicker with Goddard and A.J. Brown. So I'd probably rather have that. And then Miss New Booty, who was in the last draft for me as well. He goes Saquon, Kyron, Hurts. So he's got the Eagles stack. Then he goes kind of all over the place with Sutton, Swift, McMillan, Burden, 2 Bears, Metcalf, Ingram, Shakir, Parkinson, Rogers. Yeah, he's kind of all over the place. Niners, kicker, Rams D. Oh, the commissioner just told me he could replace him with someone not picked. That's freaking awesome. See, I like that. That's what I do in my draft too. When at the end of the draft, if you don't want that guy and you make another pick, or if the guy's hurt or something, I replace the guy. So it's FFWC. Shout out to them. This is how you do it. I appreciate it. So who should I take? Let me just text him real quick. um, so he's all over the place, Miss Newbody. Yellow sticker gets Drake May, Stevenson, Henderson. So heavy Patriots. Diggs, Henry. First 5 picks, all Patriots. Then he goes 3 straight Bears. So this is an interesting build. Bears, Patriots, Kyle Williams also he throws in there, and Boudet. So he got 7 Patriots. Holy shit. That's going to be a unique build for sure. Adunze, Dowdle, Higgins, Coker. So this is the Patriots Bears stack. But if the Patriots get in there with Stevenson, Henderson, Diggs, Boudet, Williams. I think you're right. I was surprised he took Williams before Boudet. Boudet is probably the better pick. Bills Mafia, but maybe Williams steps up in the plus. I mean, I love this talent. Rookie coming out of Washington State. Let's see. Are they waiting on me over here? No, they're done. Okay. Let me just tell him who I want real quick so he doesn't have to wait on me. And then we'll finish up these last 2 teams. Let's see who else is out there. I could basically take whoever I want. Cup's there. Christian Kirk, Golden, Palmer. Oh, Palmer's back in. Could get Cooks. Is this the other draft? Oh, no, sorry. All right, so Cooks, Golden, Reed. Could have another defense too. Could just do Bills D or Eagles D. Maybe I'll do Eagles D. All right, I'll take Eagles D. And get another Eagles there. And this way I have a defense in the first round. I mean, what's Brandon Cooks going to do for me, right? I could take another kicker too, but I already have the Eagles kicker. This is the stack I'm building. I'm surprised nobody took Eagles D. It's kind of strange. All right. Last 2 builds here. Bills Mafia goes JSN, McCaffrey, Trevor Lawrence, Kittle. So 2 Niners, Charbonnet, 2 Seahawks, 3 Niners now with Purdy, and then Jennings. So 4 Niners. He's going all NFC West here pretty much. With Brian Thomas mixed in and Trevor Lawrence, the Jaguars stack. So he's got a Seattle or Niners with the Jags. And then he throws in Hampton, another Seattle and Barner, another Seattle and Cup, Keenan Allen, Herbert, another stack. Kind of like that. Herbert is a good late pick. And then a Seahawks. So he's got Seahawks, Niners with the Jags, basically. But he's also got the Chargers could make a run with Hampton and Allen and Herbert. And then the last team, Team Black, goes ETN, Devontae, Jacoby Myers, Kenny Walker, Parker Washington. So he's got a Jaguars stack as well. A little bit of a Seattle with Darnold and Kenny Walker. Devontae Adams thrown in there. and he's got Caleb, but no other Bears here. Um, Schultz, another Jaguars, 2 in Jaguars. So heavy Jaguars. Even Christian Kirky throws in the former Jaguar. But Jaguars and throw a little Adams in there. You throw a little Seattle, Jaguars, Seattle. So again, this playoffs is entirely wide open. There's so many different combos you can do. I mean, so many different things can happen. I mean, maybe you just say, give me the highest scoring players. If you can lay in your hands on Puka with the first pick, I think is the best first pick. But again, maybe not. Maybe with Adams coming back, that throws a little bit of a wrench into Puka. But I mean, Puka is just playing so unbelievable right now. So he kind of could have took it back from Adams. There was a period where Adams was, he was the guy you wanted. I mean, he was scoring every single freaking week. And he still does have the hammy. He might not be totally 100%, but he's rested now for 3 weeks. I think they played it perfect with him. So Adams could outscore Puka in this play. So Adams is an excellent pick too if you don't land Puka. But obviously you want Puka. I think he's, again, him or Allen, I think is kind of the number one pick. And then if you get Allen like I did, you always want to pair him with Cook. And then I got the Eagles and the commish. Shout out to Scott from FFWC. He let me replace Josh Palmer with Eagles. Do you watch Josh Palmer go off in the playoffs? But I'll root for the Eagles. Bills stacked. The Eagles definitely could make a run back to the Super Bowl. But if not, the Eagles do not make it in this particular build. I do have 2 Seahawks with Shaheed and the Seahawks D. So that's possible. And I have 2 Packers with Jacobs and Dobbs as well. So that's going to be it for tonight, guys. I appreciate everybody joining us. We got a question here from Dakota Miller. What's the strategy with the 9th pick in a 10-team league? 10-team league. Let's look at this board here, and we'll kind of see. So Ramondre goes in this one, but again, this guy's building a stack here. You can't pay attention to that really. But 9th pick, I would say. Again, these drafts could go any which way. You don't know really who the hell's gonna. Guys could be doing a lot of these drafts and trying to have certain builds, but I think I'm trying to go after one of the Rams or the Bills. If I can get James Cook in the 9 slot, or if I get Stafford or Devontae, I'm probably doing that. CMC also, I think in the 9th spot. I mean, again, CMC may get knocked out in the first round, which obviously doesn't help, but he still could give you 30 points. And if he plays 2 games, I mean, that's what if CMC plays 2 games, he's probably going to pay off the 9th spot. So again, you go to CMC, but it's really what you like. Do you like the Patriots to make a run? Do you think the Jaguars can make a run? Do you think the Eagles can do it? Do you think Seattle? It's kind of, you got to kind of have to fill out your playoff bracket, and then just kind of go by that. Take the highest scoring players from those teams, based off what your playoff bracket is telling you. For me, I think I'm going to pick the Bills to go to the Super Bowl. I don't think it's a lock or that strong. Given what I've seen from their offense at times this year. But again, the AFC is wide open, and you don't have Mahomes, you don't have Jackson, you don't have Burrow. He's got to go through Trevor Lawrence, Bo Nix. They're the veteran team of this group. They've been through more than anybody. So I'll bet on Allen there and McDermott to get to the Super Bowl. And then the NFC, I just think the Rams with McVay and Stafford, that Puka Devontae Adams combo, and the way they use that running game, those tight ends and that pass rush, I think they'll get there. So it's kind of hard to build a strong Bills-Rams stack. especially when you're taking Allen. I mean, I could have took Allen, and then took Kyron Williams. I guess actually Kyron Williams went right before Cook in this draft, and then I ended up with Quorum. But it's kind of hard to get a Bills Rams stack because Puka goes first, Adam goes in the first round or early second. Um, you know, and then you don't really want to take Stafford with Allen because they kind of offset each other in a best ball format because you're not getting points for both. But you could end up with Allen, Kyron or Allen Cook, Corum, and then maybe get the Rams defense, the Rams kicker, and then one of the tight ends or two of the tight ends. You could get Higbee, you could get Parkinson, you could get Terrence Ferguson. I think Terrence Ferguson could be a nice sleeper pick. The Jaguars are a really interesting team. Obviously, they're like the hottest team coming in. Cohen's done a hell of a job. Trevor Lawrence is playing great. Ever since they picked up Jacoby Myers, I just don't know if I trust them. And I'll be honest, I really haven't got a great feel for the way they've been playing down the stretch. I really haven't focused on their games. I want to try to check out maybe one or two of their games to get a good feel. But, Lawrence is playing great. Parker Washington has always kind of been talented. He's flowing. Etienne's had a great year. Brenton Strange he could play. Myers has always been solid. And then you throw in Brian Thomas, who, if he really gets it going. So the Jaguars, I mean, they can definitely beat the Bills in that game. So again, this playoffs is wide open. There's so many different combinations you could do. You got to fill out your playoff bracket and do the best you can. But I appreciate the question there, Dakota. Thanks for joining us tonight. Thanks for liking to the show. Subscribe. We'll be back tomorrow for a full playoff breakdown of all the games. We're probably going to do an NFFC fantasy lineup, which is it's not a draft. You pick the players and then you insert new players each round as guys get eliminated, and then you get multipliers. So that's interesting. We'll probably try to do a drafters, or if I can get the underdog location thing to work, we'll do that. If not, maybe we'll do a DraftKings live draft, or maybe we'll do a couple more of these, but I think my plan is to go live Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, every single night the rest of the way for you guys up into the playoffs, which starts Saturday. So that's it. Like, subscribe, share, follow me on X at Fantasy Savvy. This is going to be a hell of a playoffs. So sit back, relax, enjoy. And we got the college football playoffs Thursday and Friday as well. So it's going to be a hell of a sports weekend. College basketball is starting to gear up as well. We got conference play coming, I think it started already, actually. I live here in Florida. UCF just knocked off Kansas. So, yeah, it has started. March, we're going to be doing that on this channel as well. We'll be doing some college basketball breakdowns. We'll do a full tournament breakdown. So if you're into the NCAA tournament, we'll be doing that come March. But that's it for tonight, guys. Take care. I appreciate everybody joining us tonight. It was a great 2 drafts. We'll see where these teams end up. All the best. If you guys have any questions, again, hit me up on X at Fantasy Savvy. Take care. Have a great night. And we'll see you tomorrow.